Hi, this is Gary with MacMost.com. Today let's take a look at using voice dictation in macOS Catalina. MacMost is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 500 supporters. Go to MacMost.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content. So there are two ways to dictate text using your voice on your Mac. The first way is you go to System Preferences and then you go to Keyboard. Then under Dictation you can turn on Dictation here. As you can see here, what's happening is you're getting Siri-like functionality. So you're speaking text, it's being sent over the internet to an Apple server and then being returned as text. This is useful for dictating very small pieces of text, like say a text message or a quick one-sentence response to an email message. It's very simple and there aren't a lot of commands. If you want to get more serious about dictation, you have to go under Accessibility and then scroll down to Voice Control, and here you can enable voice control. And this is the same feature that allows you to control menu items and click buttons and do all sorts of things, but it also includes enhanced dictation functionality. Previous to macOS Catalina this was called Enhanced Dictation, and now it's part of voice control under Accessibility. So if you turn this on, it's going to start listening to you right away. So you can see I clicked on Sleep over here. This little control shows you your microphone and you can drag it around anywhere on the screen where it's not in your way. You have a sleep and wake up button here so you can easily turn it off. If it says wake up, that means it's not currently listening. And if you click it, it'll say sleep and then that allows you to put it back to sleep. You can also speak these commands. So I can say wake up all by itself, not in a sentence like that, and it should wake up. And then I could say go to sleep and it'll go back to sleep. Let's give it a try. Wake up. Go to sleep. So you can see it shows you the command above the little box here. So this should work in just about any place that you type text on your Mac. So in the Mail app, in Messages, in a form on a web page, in TextEdit, and of course here in Pages. So let's give it a try. I'll wake up voice control and then I'll speak some text and have it type it for me. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Period. So you can see it did a really good job here of typing out what I said. And I said the word period at the end of the sentence and it recognized that that was the punctuation mark. Period. Now it's not always going to work this well. So it's going to be important to learn all of the different commands for editing your text. Let's start with moving the cursor around. Moving the text cursor around is important. You don't want to have to use the mouse or the arrow keys to do it. You want to be able to speak commands and have it move around in the text. So I'm going to use the move command. Now I can use up, down, left, and right to move the cursor. Move left. Move left. Move right. Move down. Move up. So I only have one line here, so when I said move down it went to the end of that line. The same thing that would happen if I hit the down key right now here on my keyboard. If I had multiple lines of text it would have moved up and down just like those arrow keys. Now you can also say move forward or move back followed by a number followed by a unit like characters, words, sentences, lines, or paragraphs. Move forward 12 characters. Move forward 3 words. Move backward 1 word. Now you could say move before and move after and speak a phrase and the cursor should jump to the appropriate spot. Move before brown fox. Move after the lazy dog. Now you can also say move to beginning or move to end and then the current word, sentence, whatever. So let's give that a try. Move to beginning of word. Move to beginning of sentence. Now the next thing you want to learn is how to select text. So if you just spoke something you could say select that and it will select what you just spoke. So like the last sentence or phrase that you spoke. So it's easy to make quick corrections on what you just typed. But you could also select things by speaking the phrase. Select quick brown fox. Now you can also say select previous or select next and things like word, sentence, line, etc. Select next word. Select next 3 words. Select previous 2 words. Now you have many ways to correct things when they go wrong. For instance, you can just use the replace command. Replace brown with green. You can also use the insert command. Insert very before green. And you can also use after instead of before. There's one phrase you should learn that makes it really easy to correct things in most cases. And that's to simply speak the words correct that. This takes either the last thing that you spoke or whatever's selected and gives you some variations. So you can correct something when it got it wrong. By facing his fears, he was very courageous. Correct that. 3. You can also use undo to undo what you've typed. So if you got it completely wrong, just use undo and start over again. This is a sentence I don't want to keep, period. Undo that. You could also use cut, copy, and paste just like you can with the menus or shortcut keys. You just have to speak those terms. So let's give that a try. Select Quick Brown Fox. Copy that. Go to the end of the sentence. Paste that. So you can see there the key was to use the word that. Copy that, cut that, paste that. Now what if you need to type a word that isn't in the dictionary, like a person's name or a location or some specialized term? Well, you can use the word type and then you could spell it out with letters. It's not going to get it perfect, but then you can use other commands to correct it. Type A, B, C, D, E, F. Move back 5 characters. Delete previous character. Select this word. Lowercase that. Capitalize that. So notice I was able to use lowercase that, and you can use capitalize that and uppercase that to take the selection and change the case of the letters in it. So I was able to get what I wanted just by using the commands. I had to go back and delete an extra space there too. Now let's say this is a word I want to use all the time. I want to add it to the dictionary. And you may have noticed there's an Add Vocabulary button in System Preferences, but you don't have to go all the way there to do it. You can select this word and say Add to Vocabulary. Select previous word. Add to Vocabulary. So you can see by doing that, if I go into System Preferences and then to Accessibility and to Voice Control, Vocabulary, that word is now in there. I can go in here and edit that list and add them manually if I wanted to as well. Now there are a ton of other commands just for typing special characters. For instance, if I want to get to the next line, I could say New Line or press Return key. New line. I could also do some things like say special symbols. For instance, quote or apostrophe, plus sign, minus sign. There are all sorts of special symbols that you could type. If you want to type an emoji, it helps to know the name of the emoji and then say that followed by the word emoji. Smile emoji. For most punctuation, you just say the punctuation like period, comma, dash, semicolon, colon, exclamation mark, question mark, things like that. Also notice that if you say a number between 0 and 9, it will spell it out. But you can say numeral and then use that to get the actual number. 7. Numeral 7. You could even say Roman numeral and get a Roman numeral typed out. Roman numeral 2020. There's a little bit of trouble in Paradise though when you want to spell out something that's also a punctuation mark. Like for instance use the word period. In general it tries to guess the context and spell out the word period rather than using a punctuation mark. But it doesn't always work. Let's give it a try. This occurred during the Jurassic period. This is a very short period of time. The pendulum's period was slowing down. So you can see there it got it wrong. And when it gets it wrong it's really hard to correct it. You can spell out the word of course, but it gets pretty frustrating. So that brings me to my final tip, which is if you are able to type, then this works great if you combine typing with speaking. So you can speak most of what you want to say, but keep your hands near the keyboard, and if you need to type something out then you can. And if you need to make a correction you can do it very easily. So I know it can be difficult to remember all of the different dictation commands. So I made a little cheat sheet that you could download as a PDF and then you could print it out and keep it nearby as you learn how to use dictation in macOS Catalina. I publish new tutorials every weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. Then hit the little bell icon to get notifications for each new tutorial.